4chan, a picture board social media website known for no rules, where anyone is free to post anything anonymously. You can imagine how bad it can go. However, on the initial launch in 2003, people used the website just to hang out and talk about anime and stuff. But as time passed, as expected, it became one of the darkest places on the internet that time to time reveals incidents that shocks the world. Today, we'll explore such incidents when 4chan users went too extreme, starting with our first user named Ruben Braithwaite. Story starts when a father named Charles brings his 12-year-old son to live with him and his new partner Fiona, who would be Ruben's stepmom, in a farm between St. Clears and Logharn in the United Kingdom. Fiona loved him, took care of him, and even believed in him. She actually wanted Ruben to go to university after his studies. Everything was normal and going well until Ruben stumbled upon 4chan and started spending time on the website, a mistake that will impact his whole life. After 5 years since he'd started to live with him, one day Ruben would come home, lure her loving stepmom out of the house, and then heartlessly murder her in cold blood. And not just that, this 17-year-old kid was so desensitized that he would watch all that blood coming out of her skull and throat before calling the cops. Fascinated with gore-filled images and videos on 4chan, Ruben told the cops that he was convinced that he had to do it. When he was asked why he actually performed such a brutal task, his answer was, "My motivation was to shock people, to change my life." During the initial interrogation, he also said to the cops, "I just wanted her dead so I could have a life. I'm just fed up." In his confession, Ruben said, "I came from the school and had coffee with my stepmom and her mother, which was a normal school day. After that, her mother went out to the cabin and I also got out. And then I called my stepmom out and told her that there was an injured cat outside. And when she came out, I hit her with the blunt end of the axe, which suddenly made her unconscious. After that, I struck her with the same axe 5 or 6 times more, leaving her head open. After that, Ruben took the samurai sword that he'd got from under his father's bed and sliced her mother's throat with it, and then he waited. In the meantime, he started recording the footage of her mother lying on the ground with all that blood quickly draining from her body. When it stopped, Ruben dialed 999, which is the authority emergency number in the country, and told them that he had killed someone in his house. During his trial, the cops informed that the kid was as calm and composed as he could have been while he told them about the dead body and how he'd killed her. This shows how cold-blooded and horrifying a murderer he'd become by simply watching some content on websites like 4chan. Ruben even tried to upload all the videos and photos on 4chan, trying to share what he did with other such inhumane people on the website. However, since he was already banned, he couldn't. But when the police checked his mobile device, they found multiple killing videos, criminal content, and things that no one should have on their mobile devices. Ruben had become fascinated with crimes, killings, suicide, and beheadings so much that he thought it would be perfectly okay to slice the stepmom's throat just because he couldn't deal with himself. In the end, despite the fact that Ruben was 17 years old, which was still a minor age, he was sentenced to life with a minimum of 15 years for the things he'd done. That was just one of the few incidents we'll explore in this video. Coming up is the next story of Neil Macinis. On the 2nd of April 2013, a 4chan user uploaded an anonymous picture that shows the entrance of the New River Mall, Virginia. Along with the photo, he tries to explain to the other users what he's actually going to do. In his post, he wrote, "Hey B, it's time. My name is Neil Macinis and I go to the New River Community College in Christiansburg, Virginia, 10 minutes away from Virginia Tech. I'm going to give you all the details because the news never gets it right." He also shared with the audience that he had recently received the license for the Stevens 320 shotgun, which he would not use for anything good. Y'all know that already, don't you? In his post, Neil even confessed that he wasn't very good at handling shotguns as he had only handled a shotgun a couple of times. As it was expected, the 4chan community was very quick to respond and everyone wanted to know what was going to happen, and they started gathering more info about this. But in the meantime, Neil had already made up his mind. And surpassing the level of all craziness, he actually invited other 4chan users to watch the whole thing with his live stream. However, thankfully, the live stream did not work at the time he was doing those horrible things. So, within a few minutes of uploading the post, Neil was already on his way towards the mall entrance in his car. Upon reaching there, he parked his car right in front of the entrance so that nobody could escape from there even if they wanted to. And then he went inside the mall and started pulling the trigger of his shotgun recklessly, aiming at everyone and anyone. However, after pulling the trigger 4 or 5 times, he realized that the safety was still on. And luckily, this gave most of the people present there enough time to escape the vicinity. Still, Massini shot 2 people, both women, before he was finally apprehended by a security guard. Yes, it's lucky that those 2 women still get to see another day, but the trauma that he would have gone through cannot be explained. I mean, can you ever forget getting shot at by some 18-year-old crazy kid? In the end, the 4chan post was taken down and Macinis was sentenced to 68 years in jail. However, 30 years of that sentence was later lifted, and now he's serving the rest of the 38 years in prison. It's shocking how an 18-year-old kid who was still in school can get influenced and make up his mind to perform such horrible acts. Yes, there were no dead people, but the kind of thing he did, and which he actually did, was just scary. But don't rest yet, our next story is much scarier. A user takes his life on live stream. Do you know what the benefit of being on a large and popular media platform like Instagram or Twitter is? You get so many people who are like you. There are all sorts of people, and some of them would be struggling with mental health issues, constant paranoia, and other things. The scene on 4chan is also similar. However, the number of people who are struggling is way more. Or at least they show it up there. On the website, you can almost daily find posts about how people are struggling with their lives and how they're preparing for their final see-off. Perhaps these are just attention seekers who want people to sympathize with them, but perhaps they're actually saying their final goodbye to the world as well. One such incident took place on the 30th of November 2011. A user posted his photo on the website and said something that even regular 4chan users were surprised by. He mentioned, "This is it. Tonight I will be ending my own life. I've been spending the last hour making the preparations, and I'm ready to go through with it. As a user who's been on 4chan since 2004, I thought I would finally give back to the community in the best way possible. I'm willing to be a hero on camera for you all. All that I request is for you guys to link me to a site where I'm able to stream it for you guys, and then I'll gladly fulfill my promise." The whole message in itself is horrifying and clearly highlights the disturbed state of mind of the writer. And usually, to prevent this, we would try to calm the person down and explain to them that everything's going to be okay and all that. Because you know what? They need that. But since this was all happening on 4chan, things were bound to go differently. Within a few minutes of this post, another 4chan user set up a chat room at Chattin', which is a popular streaming site. And in literally no time, the room was at its full capacity with 200 people. And there were still a huge number of people on the 4chan thread, asking questions and even saying things like, "Hey, can someone stream the stream for me? I can watch that way." I personally find this moment so gross and horrifying that so many people are cheering for someone who's going to take his own life. I mean, just imagine if one of these people were your relatives or your close friends and what they can do to you with such a mindset. It was a moment that truly highlighted the dark corner of 4chan, the really dark one. All those 200 people and many others effortlessly watched the live stream as the guy swallowed pills one after another with vodka. He'd set up the camera in such a way that it would cover the whole room, and after taking in all those pills, he started a fire in his own room with a toaster. And the room slowly began to fill in with all the dark smoke. And they weren't just watching. They were even updating others about what was happening on the stream. It's like they were watching some sports and giving updates. But it wasn't a sport. It was a young-looking guy taking his own life in such a terrifying way. And you know what? They were actually frustrated that they could not see what was going on in the room since the smoke had blurred everything. However, after some time, things started to get clearer. But there was no one, and the stream suddenly stopped. Everyone in the live stream and in the chat room got curious. They wanted to know what happened to the guy. Did he live? Did he die? Who was he? Everyone started making their own speculations based on what they thought and what they wanted to think. It's all become a mystery, unsolved for more than a year. And one day, it was revealed that the camera was shut down by the firefighters who had rushed into the room. Along with that, the name of the individual was also revealed. He was Dakota Moore. a 21-year-old college student who just wanted to do it. Yes, just like that, he wanted to do it. Can you imagine? Soon after the live stream, a link redirecting to the stream recording was uploaded to 4chan. You may be thinking that, yes, this is the limit. But guess what? What's coming up next will totally shatter your thoughts. The 2007 post. So we're going back to 2007, and an image is uploaded on the B board, which is the random board of 4chan. The person who had uploaded the image, which we'll come back to later, had also intentionally hidden his IP address. With the image, he asked this one simple question: what does /B keep in the freezer? Guess what's in mine? Different responses started to come in on the post, like dog, urine, a body. However, the jokes suddenly became serious as the original image poster congratulated the responses and revealed that there was indeed a severed human leg inside the freezer, and the rest of the body parts are inside a bin liner. Another image is uploaded. It shows the fridge in some part of the forearm of the poster, highlighting that it's an authentic post. The lengths to which this poster went to conceal his identity and yet share such a thing with the world is unimaginable. After the incident, nobody knew who he was, where he was, or what he'd done with the bodies. Was it even his first time? And if not, how many people he would have hunted down just to fulfill his fetish? It was all a mystery, a horrifying one. All the stories that we have got to know were truly horrifying. And what makes them even more scary is that they're real-life stories. They are true. The victims are real, not the imagination of someone. Everyone who has suffered in these stories has my condolences, and I wish things like these do not happen. If you enjoyed watching such internet crime and mystery video, don't forget to like the video and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our other videos. Also, check this next looking to learn more about internet crimes.